Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Strange Origins Podcast, episode 79. What the fuck are you doing?
I thought just catch you off guard because you're like.
I was looking over there, innit? Hello,
Hello.
hello, hello. Welcome to another week at it again.
7 to 9.
Yeah,
We're like rinsing through this. Like,
I know. Even though we've been going at the same pace for the last year and a half, it just feels like we're going quicker at the moment.
Is it that, or it's just like days are just going by like really fast?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that's happening in our week that's
Yeah.
like bunching this all into like especially because we've got a lot of projects like on at the moment. So I feel like every time I'm at work and then I come home and I'm doing shit and then there's always something happening. So
Yeah. So.
which is good. I'm not, at least I'm not just sitting around doing fuck all.
Oh, I did that earlier, and I was like, I can't be outside. Just took a nap. It's so sad, man. It's just fucking. It's like.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes naps aren't useful to me. Sometimes I just like I nap and I wake up. I'm like in pain. I'm like my eyes are burning. I'm like, why am I here?
It's like days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How long has it been, huh? It's been
And then
like
it
a
fucks my
day?
sleeping pattern, and I'm just this is just not worth it. Like,
I think I kind of need it because like I've been like sleep deprived for like the past couple. I would say
yeah,
like almost a month.
it
I'm just
depends
trying
if you go into REM sleep. Apparently, like
to.
like rapid eye movement sleep. It's like deep sleep. So when you go into REM sleep is when you start to dream and shit like that, like properly. Like your eyes literally go like this, like that. Like they've documented it. But like when you go into that, your brain starts to rest. So if you wake up mid REM sleep, you're like, what? Like you're just like you're dazed.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, I was going into this one with a predetermined topic.
Yes.
Basically, it's like a thought-provoking question.
Mm.
And I was like wondering, like, your thoughts on it and like discussion points. But basically, I was at work the other day, and I saw two kids playing around, like,
Yeah.
because I was out in the courtyard bit, and they were roughly like the same age. Maybe the girl was younger, something like that. I'd say about 7, something like that. And like they were like getting close to the pigeon. There was a pigeon at work, and they were getting close to it, and the girl, like, she wanted to like stroke the pigeon or touch the pigeon or feed the pigeon,
Yeah.
right? But the boy, as soon as he got close to it, he tried to kick the pigeon, and the pigeon was like, "Ain't having any of that," so he just left, right? And
Okay.
then it just, I don't know, it just made me think, like, are boys like just inherently more aggressive?
You said like just like instead of just boys, would you say like just male being?
Males, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm wondering if I'm not saying all males, and I'm not saying all boys, all girls, all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? But I'm just saying in general, like
Okay.
average. Do you think that? Because from what I saw there, it's a very small sample size. It's one, so it's not
Yeah.
like it's massive. But you do hear about it a lot. Like the majority of violent crime is men, and
Yeah.
it's usually on other men. When you go out on nights out and stuff like that, it's always men starting fights.
Yeah.
And they're being physical and stuff like that. Like, so I don't know. The question popped into my head. Like, do you think that's a thing?
I think personally, I think yes.
Mm.
Um, because being a guy myself, I sort of had that growing up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to kick pigeons, but I always had this sort of like thing of like, man, I could like if
Fight.
we were like in a, yeah, I was a very like not aggressive, but I was just like I don't know like not angsty, but I was just like very like angry
Yeah.
in a sense, right? And like
Boisterous, I think is the word.
yeah, and like in school, I would literally get into fights for like the
Yeah.
sake of it
But
because
then,
I was like,
so that's what I said, right?
mm,
I didn't say agree. I didn't say yes or no, but I said
yeah,
that, like, men usually get involved in a lot more fights and stuff.
mm,
Um, but then my coworker brought up a good argument, which was, I like, with males, it's kind of like more encouraged than with women,
yes,
because
I've seen that, yeah,
if a boy was to do that and they got into a fight with another boy or whatever, usually they wouldn't get punished as hard, or it would be like, oh, boys just being boys, oh, they're just playing around,
yeah,
like that sort of stuff. But if a girl was to get into a fight, it would be heavily like stopped. He'd be like, no, you don't do that. Da, da, da. So they kind of learn from a younger age, like not to do that stuff.
But it's also more violent though. Like the female when females fight, it's more violent.
I don't know, man.
Because see, right, they're out here like just like they got the nails, they're pulling hair everywhere.
Not when you're 6 years old, you don't have nails.
True, but like because I've seen a couple of
They
fights
only
in my school.
pull, but that's the thing. You say pull hair and all that stuff. That's because most of the time males don't have long hair. There's no hair to pull.
Yeah, but yeah.
I think that's it. It's just resources at your disposal. If there was like if men were all long haired, then yeah, you would grab it as well. Like in a fight, like you say you wouldn't, but in a fight when you're a kid, I don't think it matters. Like, and I think it's just like I don't think it's more aggressive. I just think that they get taught as well not to fight. They don't get taught how to fight. Men, boys usually get taught like you throw a punch like that. You know, you've seen the old thing of like the dad training the boy like how to fight and play fighting and stuff like that. Doesn't play fight with a girl usually.
Yeah.
So usually a boy by the age of like 7 or 8 knows how to throw a punch already.
Yeah, it's also like again, it's encouraged by like parents.
Yeah, and especially older generation.
Yeah, because like when I was growing up when I was in Philippines when I was growing up, there was like this. I remember this like very like specifically because my uncle kind of like because he was kind of like the captain of the whole area, right?
Yeah,
and like he does like he's very like you can't let anyone disrespect you and especially your name.
Yeah,
basically, right? So like there was this one kid that was bullying me in school, and I didn't fight back, obviously. But then like when the teachers called my uncle, who I was living with at the time, he literally took me to one side. He was like, "Listen, you as like he was like you as a man or a boy,
yeah,
you have to stand up for yourself no matter what.
yeah,
You have to like." It doesn't matter how big they are, how like you can't let anyone disrespect you or your name.
yeah.
Specifically. So I was like, all right, cool. And then I think so when I moved over to this country, and I was like, sort of like, you know, when you have that like testosterone, like when you're school, right? I've always had that in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
There is no way no one's gonna bully me.
Yeah.
And get away with it.
See, that's what I'm saying. That brings into the other point of like, when you get to like puberty.
Yeah.
Like there is more testosterone, there is more like, and that's been proven to be an aggressive like hormone that makes you like do those sort of things. Not makes you, but like kind of pushes you more likely into that direction.
Yeah, for some reason, everything in your head makes sense.
Yeah,
like especially when you're aggressive, it's like I'm gonna fucking be
exactly. Yeah, like and that, so like my argument, I guess, is before puberty and stuff. Before that happens, you're kind of like encouraged, like as a kid, to do that, especially if you're a boy. Like, and I think of a girl is looked down upon. Like, and also like the other side of it is like, when you get involved in fights, like you kind of just like your older generations are like, well done. Like, oh, did you fuck him up, sort of thing. Like, and I don't know if that's a thing that's like, I don't think that's even dying out either. I think like people still encourage it.
I mean, it's almost like you see it in film and like in like TV series and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you should have seen the other guy. It's
yeah.
And the guy always says that, and I'm like, huh.
So like, I guess that what I was thinking is it nature or is it nurture? Like, is it evolutionary? Is it like genetic, or is it learned?
I think
is the aggressiveness learned from people?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because, one, you're taught it. Secondly, because I think there's. This gonna sound really weird, but I think as a guy, you naturally are a protector in a way, right? So like when you,
but see, that's a stereotype that's been drived into you as a kid.
Yeah,
like you being like a protector.
That plays into that.
Yeah,
exactly, right. So that I think that's why I think men. I'm not saying that females are aggressive or anything, right?
No,
who knows, right? So it's just like, in my opinion, it's just like in us to be that, to sort of protect.
It's weird because you get taught at a young age. This is very, very average and like bare bones. Like it's not everyone's case, but like you get taught as a kid, as a boy.
Yeah.
Fights are good.
Yeah.
As long as you're fighting a man or a boy.
Yeah.
If you're fighting girls, that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
And then you're like, sort of like when you move on to that, it's sort of like you kind of have to learn again not to fight.
Yeah.
Because you'll get in trouble.
See.
There's like a weird golden period of like time where you're allowed to fight.
Yeah,
Like,
because there's literally no repercussion.
yeah. And then you get
Nothing.
to testosterone, and you're like, you want to fight all the time,
Hell yeah.
amongst other things. Like,
Yep.
and it's just like that just builds up a lot of aggression. And I don't know if, like, again, we're two guys talking about a situation about girls and boys, and we don't know
Mm,
the other half of it. But just
yeah.
judging from what I've heard and what people I've spoken to, I don't hear the same experiences unless you were a guy about
Yeah.
fighting.
See. I
Like,
mean,
the amount of fights I got into just because I was a man,
exactly, right?
crazy.
And like another example is in my family I have like niece and nephews, right?
Yeah,
Bless my niece, right? There's like people always comes my niece and nephew always comes down to our house, but there's always like three boys
yeah,
and one niece,
yeah,
right? Bless her. They're always fighting.
yeah,
No joke. They're always like wrestling or trying to like they're gonna just fight.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's just there, just like
What the hell
just
are you
watching.
doing?
Yeah, and then just like what, like just watching on her tablet or watching TV or something,
Yeah,
And like I was like, fuck, man, like that's when I like sort of like I realized I was like, man, there's definitely like a clear difference of
yeah.
like how boys are taught from a young age.
That's what I'm saying. So is that taught?
I think it is. I think it's definitely
So it's
taught.
definitely like, if she was to get involved in the fighting, would that be actively? I'm wondering if, like, one of the reasons why it's discouraged is
Mm,
because she wouldn't be fighting with other girls; she'd be fighting with boys, and boys are taught not to hit girls.
yeah,
So, well, I mean, by some good parents, they are. Like,
yeah,
so he wouldn't fight his sister
no,
because he feels like he would probably hurt her.
yeah.
So, like, she just ends up not fighting, and he just fights with other boys.
I,
It's weird. It's like this weird, like, taught fallacy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know,
And that's the
man.
thing. I think if you just like I don't know if you ask like the little girl like because I asked my niece once I was like, do you want to like get involved with the whole boy? They're like, no,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to get hurt. Like
yeah,
I'm not stupid.
yeah.
Like I don't want to get in trouble by like my grandmother or like my
'Cause
mom.
that's the thing. Get in trouble.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, right, when they're fighting, they break something in the house, and you will see my mom come down like ah, like immediately, like what happened, and my niece will just be there, but like it's them, it's them,
So that's
essentially
what
it's
I'm
them.
saying. So, like,
So it's like,
I always, I've like, this is well, that was the question that I was wondering, because
mm,
yes, okay, we could talk about fights and fighting and all that stuff,
mm,
but what about when it translates to what I saw, which was with the animal? So, like,
okay,
it was it was almost like she wanted to nurture it, she wanted to look after it, where he
mm,
wanted to harm it. And for me, like, the first thing that went through my mind was like this caveman thing of, like, hunter gatherer sort of thing. Like, and I'm
yes,
not saying that's what happened, but I'm just saying that's immediately what shot into my head.
mm,
And it was just like very strange. It was bizarre because they're so young. They
yeah,
haven't learned much. So, unless they've learned a few stereotypes, you know?
that's it. But then you could also say the same thing with a female because women are naturally more like nurturing and motherly, right?
Mm,
So when you saw that, it was like, was she taught that or was she something natural?
yeah.
So
That's what I'm
like,
saying. So I think it
yeah,
was taught, because I can
yeah,
guarantee to a certain extent, just like extent, sorry, like 90% accurate, that she was probably playing with dolls or babies,
mm,
baby dolls, like when she
yeah,
was a kid, which again reinforced the nurture aspect of, like, her life, of,
see,
like, you need to look after this, you need to care for this. Whereas
yeah,
a boy probably gets, like, action figures and stuff like that, where they're fighting all the time.
mm,
So again, it feeds into the same thing of, like, fight, 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 fight. Whereas a girl is like, you look after, you look after, you look after.
yeah,
And it's like, maybe that's also another thing that went into it. Because when I was a kid, I didn't want to hurt animals.
yeah, no,
Like,
same,
I wanted to look after them.
yeah,
But I don't know if that feeds into, like, toxic masculinity. I didn't really have anyone like that in my household, apart from my brothers, obviously. But, like, not definitely not James. But like, yeah, like, it kind of feeds into, like, that didn't happen until I was way older. Like, I didn't
yeah,
have my dad going around going like, "Oh, you must be a man," da da da, like that. So I never really
yeah.
had that.
I think for me it was like I only had like an older brother, and he was getting into a lot of fights. So like I kind of saw that
Yeah.
because like my our dad never really like sort of gave us the whole like man talk basically.
Mm.
Of like you gotta do this. It's more it all came from like I think my mom's side, my uncle.
The only man talk I don't know. It's kind of like unlocking a memory for me. But the only, like, man talk I had was like, you need to look after people. Is
Mm,
what I got taught. Like, that's what a man does basically. Is looks
yeah,
after people.
you protect like your friends and family.
That yeah, essentially that's what my dad taught me.
Yeah.
So
So
again, I don't know if that goes into the same thing.
I think it does. I think it just
So if you had, I know you say it's like a bit of both. It's like a bit
yeah.
of let's call it nature nurture because nature is, evolutionary and nurture is taught.
Yeah.
Would you say it's more one than the other? Pre puberty. Because
Ah, shit.
it
I,
can't
I,
it
I-
can't be exactly 50-50.
it's tough though because like the kid like, the boy's environment plays like a lot into it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So like it's a tough
Because
question to
I'm
answer.
kind of in the camp of I've always been in the camp ever since when I was studying psychology and stuff. Is I always was in the camp of like a person when they're born is near enough. I would say about 75% a blank slate, and
Yeah.
if everything from that point on changes their personality, changes their actions, changing
Mm.
how they'll be as a person. So yes, some of it is nature, like it's
Mm.
inherent and comes from genetics, but like I feel like the majority of your personality and who you are as a person, all that stuff comes from environmental.
Yeah. So it's it's tough, man. Because as part of me want to say it's just it's natural,
Yeah, but I
but
don't think it is until you hit puberty.
yes, because like
When
you're
you yeah,
surrounded by like your parents and
because when you
people.
hit puberty, that testosterone thing kicks, and I've seen some kids, like some guys, like completely change.
Mm.
Like they were like when I knew them when they were before they hit puberty, like year
Mm.
7, and then like year 8, like they would hit puberty and they'd changed.
Yeah.
Like they got more aggressive, more violent. Like it was crazy.
Uh, See, I was opposite. I was violent from year 7 to like year 11. I was constantly fighting. I was
Yeah,
constantly. There's been times where I've been like, what is it? Is not like kicked out, but I was like
pension.
suspended no, I was suspended or excluded for a couple of days
Oh
for a week,
Jesus Christ, suspended.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I actually was like, and I think one of the principals was like, because we had like two principals,
yeah.
because one retired. One of them was like, "Yeah, all right, you like need you're one more away
Oh
from
shit.
being completely kicked out," and this is
Damn.
through like the whole 5 years of me being there. And like after that, after year 11, I think I was like, I would completely change.
Mm.
I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I just couldn't be asked
But
because
then
like
was that you or was that a product of your like environment, as in your friends and stuff? I'm not saying blame your friends 100%, but were you in with a crowd that liked to do that
yes,
sort of stuff?
yes, I was with the roadman,
See, that's what I'm saying.
right? And then I switched friends, and I actually went back to my old friends from primary school, and
Yeah.
I was fine. Like I didn't fight. I didn't have the urge for it,
Mm.
and like I just completely changed, and I stopped hanging around with those guys, and like actually, funny enough, my grades got better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not surprised. Like that's the
So
thing
it's
though.
like
So do you that again to me reinforces that it's a nurture thing.
yeah. So but I think before that it was definitely like aggressiveness of just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I
It's
still
tough
remember
though.
like I mean that's how like gang culture stuff happens
Yeah,
because people are in with the wrong crowd and then they end up thinking that that's the only way their life can go.
but then I was in that crowd,
That's what I'm
and
saying. If you would have stayed in
I
that crowd,
no no, but I chose to get out of it. I made the self conscious choice to be like, there's no point in this because soon as I hit 18 or even like 16,
yeah,
I could literally be put in prison.
yeah. But think about how many of these choices and
Mm,
stuff gets like, and all of these actions led to that choice. Some people don't have those, right? For
mm,
instance, like some people might have been promised money, which is what you see in like in like even like shows like Top Boy show you that
mm,
they got promised money, and that's what leads them to this life and stuff like that. So it's definitely a product of an environment, like 100% for me. Like especially like the kid thing, like finding out if
mm.
people are more aggressive and stuff. Like, look, if it doesn't matter if you're a girl, boy, whatever. Like you could be aggressive as fuck. Like
But
even
then,
if you're a girl, but
what about like kids who actually like kill other
mm,
kids?
I mean that's the extreme cases. Those are
Because
those are very extreme.
because that's like
I
another
do think
topic.
the majority of those are boys as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? The guy from America, the one that actually like mutilated and just like, is it dermatory?
I can't remember. I know the one in England was Jamie Bolger was like a famous one.
Ah,
Like where they did it on the like they killed a younger kid. They were older. Like
yeah.
and stuff like that happens a lot. Like I mean, it kind of feeds into what we were talking about last week with guns and stuff.
Mm,
Like in America, because we can't really speak for America. We're not American, but like you know, over here, if we had access to guns as freely as they do, you can probably guarantee there'd be a lot more gun violence, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of going slightly off topic, but I saw like
yeah.
someone say that Mexico has only one gun shop. I guess you can call it a shop, one gun store in the whole of Mexico, right? But yet their gun crime is like through the roof. And then like and that was someone like saying obviously for the pro guns in America. And then it just takes one quick Google search, by the way, just one, literally, just type it
Yeah.
in. It takes 5 seconds to find out that yes, they do have one, but
But
77% of the gun crimes were used with guns bought legally in America. Like, do you know what I
so
mean? So it's like it doesn't matter they have gun control because the biggest country right next to them
it's
has no
literally,
gun control,
yeah.
and they could just
And
buy it and transport it over.
yeah, that's it. Or like smuggle or whatever. But yeah, no, I
Stuff
agree.
like that. Like, I mean, like we got restrictions. Like, for instance, like my nephew couldn't even buy like a can of Iron Brew. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
He wouldn't be able to buy a knife in a shop.
Yeah.
Like, they would stop him. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it's I mean, that's why Amazon is kind of bad because you could just buy it. There's no security check on Amazon. You could what the fuck was that? A moth flew across your screen.
Yeah, no.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's also like my nephews or younger people like wouldn't be able to just go into a shop and buy a knife. Like they
Mm.
can't do that. Like
But in Amazon, don't you need to like provide like some sort of like
I don't think you need ID.
credit card or something, or
Well,
debit
yeah,
card?
but how many kids? Like, there's some kids that have their own cards now.
Mm.
You know, or they could
Yeah,
just steal their parents. Like it's not like they
uh,
wouldn't if they're gonna use a knife to stab someone. I'm sure stealing their parents' cards wouldn't go that far. You know.
to be fair, you can actually just get like a full on knife on Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Amazon's dangerous, man.
And not just like kitchen knife or anything. You can actually get like by
Proper
the saw.
stabby knife.
Yeah,
Like,
nuts, dude.
yeah.
Crazy stuff.
You know, I think you know, switchblades, the one where they pop out. I
Yeah,
think they're actually banned in this country. You're not allowed to have them.
but they banned from being sold from by Amazon or online.
Yeah, like you can't sell it in this country at all. But
Son
people
of
still
a-
have them, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. For me, like that feeds into the same argument that I reckon there would be a lot more school shootings and stuff like that. Like, I mean, we had
But
in my school we had metal detectors like every once in a while that they would just spring them on you. Like it wouldn't be every day. You'd go
yeah,
into school and then one day, as you're coming into school, bam, there's metal detectors, and everyone was like, "Oh shit!
dude, I have a really bad story.
Oh no, what did you bring?"
This is bad. This is so bad. This is
He
probably okay.
a disclaimer: he is a changed man now.
I am a holy Catholic man. I'm not religious right there. Now this was like when I was like 15, no, actually 14 or 15, one of those age.
Yeah,
You know when like the height of knife crime was bad,
yeah.
right? And everyone was carrying a knife. Or
Everyone,
whatever.
yeah, there was a lot of people that were carrying knives. Did you carry a knife?
I carried a knife.
But see,
And I got
okay,
caught.
oh, you got
I got
caught.
caught.
Oh
I got
shit!
caught, right? And this is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life.
How did you
The
not get
reason-
excluded?
Okay, right? I don't fucking know.
Wow.
Right? It's sus, Jack. Right? And the thing that I did, which is so dumb, right, is I showed my friend, but it wasn't like one of those stabbing knife. It was like a
Kitchen knife.
standing knife. No,
Oh,
it's a standing
standing
knife,
knife. Okay.
right? But I showed it to him, and he goes, "Oh shit, it's got a fucking knife."
Oh no.
Happened to be music teacher just came out of fucking
Oh
the door,
shit.
and he was like, "Wait, what?" So because this was like when it was like high of like
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
stabbing, right? So I got caught because of that, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life.
But did you? What did they say? They just took the knife off you and that was it?
I got was it excluded
What?
for like 2
Oh,
weeks.
suspended.
Suspended for 2 weeks. And there was like this rumor going around that I have a record in my name.
Oh, okay. But you
But
didn't.
then but then after like 18 or whatever, it gets
You're
worse.
lucky, man. You're
Yeah,
lucky because if
right.
you got excluded, your life would be completely different right now.
Exactly, right. I would be out here probably like juking man's up or shit
Yeah,
or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
But
I mean, like,
yeah,
kind of similar for me. Like, I didn't
mm,
carry.
yeah.
I was this fucking close to buying a knife.
But
Like, very close.
because it is the fear,
All right,
right?
that's what I was going to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
you were carrying it for your own safety, right?
Hell yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was
Hell
going to be
yeah.
doing.
Because my school was there, right? There was another school like literally next door.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like if you take the bus going the opposite way, there's literally another school, and then
yeah.
on my way home, there's another school
Oh,
that's like
shit.
the roughest school in the entire fucking
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah,
That's when my brother like went to school, and he was mad violent.
yeah. I
So
mean,
like,
the other schools and stuff that around my one used to
mm,
wait outside the gates and catch people and fight. Like
exactly
the estate that I
that.
used to cut through had like stabbings on there like every month.
Yeah, it's fucking
So that's
nuts.
why I was gonna carry, but I didn't. Luckily,
Mm,
luckily as well. Like I was gonna buy the knife
mm,
off my, I say friend. He's not my friend, but I was gonna buy it off him because even he
yeah,
was telling me, he was like, you got to carry it for your own protection nowadays. Da, da,
yeah,
da. And then like a week later, metal detectors were at the school, and I was like, wow, I'm so fucking lucky that I
yeah,
did, because if I would have get caught with that, I was fucked.
yeah. You
Like
would have
I probably wouldn't have
definitely,
got excluded because I didn't have any history of like fights or anything like that, but
but I think you
definitely
will get
suspended.
excluded. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no,
I was lucky to get excluded
yeah,
because
very lucky.
I've had multiple fights
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
entire
yeah.
fucking thing. So
But that was the problem though. Like we got like, I don't know, sucked into the fear. Like there
yeah,
was, I mean, there were to be fair, there were stabbings near me all the time.
mm,
But like we did get sucked into the fear. Like most of the time, if you weren't involved with it, you wouldn't get stabbed.
yeah,
That's the bottom line. Like usually, I know
yeah,
there's outliers to the case, but like most of the time, if you weren't involved in gang shit or you weren't
yeah,
involved in fighting and shit like that, you wouldn't get stabbed. Most people would be like, no, 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 he's not part of it, and then move on.
mm, yeah,
Most of the time, the worst thing is you probably get robbed.
yeah.
Like, but
That's it.
give your phone, not your life, right?
Yeah.
I know that from young age, anyway. So,
But yeah, I mean, again, going back to the thing of
yeah,
nature and nurture, is that why you gonna class that? Is that like nurture?
yeah. Like,
Because
I
like
mean, I was actually another question if he's like, or at least I get reminded of like, have you ever been like robbed?
close,
Mm.
close.
Was it ever a woman doing it?
No.
There we go. Concrete evidence. Males are
What the
violent.
fuck?
Males are violent. No,
Um,
same with me. I got threatened and stuff, but I never got actually robbed.
no, I was close to getting robbed until police came.
Oh shit.
So I was luckily because they were just like at a park where we were skateboarding. I was on the way home, and then there was this group of kids, the best group of man devs on a bike,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just like circling around. So I think someone must have called the police. So look, when they tried to rob people,
Yeah.
literally the police came.
The,
But
the way I did it, like I think two guys or three guys came up to me on a bike. It was me and somebody else, I think. Well, no, no, no. It
yeah,
was just me on my own. And they were like, "Yo, what's the time?" You know, that classic thing of like, "What's the time?" Or
yeah,
have you got a phone? I need to make a phone call.
yeah,
And I was like, "Look, I know what that's about.
yeah.
Also, I know you." And I said his name, and I was like, "You go to my school." So, and then they were like, "Oh man, well, fuck this," and they just like went away. I was like, I know who you are. Like, if you're gonna rob me, you're gonna go fuck. You're gonna get fucked. So, like, it's so
You're going to
stupid.
kill me? Huh?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. What's up?
So what are you gonna do, man? Like, I know it. Like, whatever your name is.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan from fucking
Yeah.
year 7 or
Say
year
his
8.
surname, his address, everything. Like, fucking go Batman on him. Like,
Fuck man. But yeah, I think. But again, going back to the whole thing, I think
yeah, yeah.
it's a mixture of both.
I think it's
In my
more.
opinion.
It's definitely a mixture of both, but I think it's more towards nurture side, like
But then
learn to
you,
do it.
mm,
I think
yeah,
personally,
I get
if you grew like, think of it this way: if you had a boy and a girl and you let them grow up in a neutral environment, like in a fucking card, like massive white box, I don't
yeah.
think one would be more aggressive than the other, like as much until they hit puberty.
Okay.
I reckon if you put a bunch of puppies in a room with those kids, they would both just go, "What the fuck is that?" They wouldn't attack it. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it. I don't know that for fact, and I don't think we will ever know that because you can't legally put a kid from birth into a fucking box. But
It's like
dude, you should read some of the old psychology like experiments they used to do before regulations got invented. They were
really.
bad. Like one of them, I know one was called Little Albert, right? This will be the closing thing. But Little Albert, it was an experiment, a famous experiment, like where they got a kid, Albert. It was their kid.
Yeah.
And they every time I can't remember what animal it was. It might have been like a rabbit or something, a toy rabbit. Every time the rabbit was there, they would scare the shit out of the kid. They would scare him like
Oh,
beyond, like to make him scared, to make him cry.
Yeah.
Every time he got the rabbit, every single time. Then eventually, they basically Pavloved him. Like as soon as he got the rabbit, like he was scared of the rabbit. He would run away from the rabbit. He wouldn't want to be near it because he knew what came after. And they wanted to see if humans could be taught like that as much as like dogs and all that stuff, and if they could learn fear. I mean,
yeah.
it was correct because I mean, to be fair, like now that we've all grown up, I feel like I could have told them that for free without terrorizing that kid. Like you all know that people learn fears from.
But then
parents.
sorry, but again, going back to the thing of like sort of like you have to sort of do the experiment for it to prove.
See, that's what I would think. But like, for instance, my brother, one of my brothers, is scared of moths, right? He's got proper fear of them. But what I used to see as a kid is I used to see him and watch how he reacted, and that made me scared. And that's why I had like not fear, but I used to be like wary of them.
Okay.
So I like you didn't have to terrorize that kid. I could have told you it for free, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that people learn fears. It's 100% true. If you saw a spider and you never ever saw any scary things about a spider, you would just be like, "Oh, it's a spider." Do you know what I mean?
Okay, this is gonna be weird because like your girlfriend.
Oh my god, here we go.
There's a spider. There's a spider there, and I was like, huh? And I just looked at it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a spider.
Yeah.
And I basically just shoot it.
Yeah.
And because I grew up in the Philippines where we literally capture spider on our hand, right?
Yeah.
And make them fight to the death with one another.
No, I know. Like Mark's spoken about that before.
And it's like,
but he's got a fear of spiders.
Yeah, so I don't.
So that's what I'm saying. He's learned it from somewhere else. Like, and also you guys should fear spiders in your country. They can kill you.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, they can.
You know why? Because I got a boot outside.
Dude, it's just got to bite you once.
It don't matter.
It's a David and Goliath sort of thing.
Don't matter.
And also, if
throw in the back.
Also, if you do ever get bit by a spider, do not crush it. You need to keep that fucking spider. Because if it's got venom, they need to know what spider you bit you.
You're telling me, yeah?
You need to capture it.
No, I'm not gonna fight. What if you bit me in my hand again?
Well, if you captured it, you're pretty shit at capturing a spider. What the fuck is gonna out wrestle you?
No, but like
put a cup over it, man.
Nah, man, fuck that. You're getting stomped. I'll be like,
oh, then you die because you wouldn't know what. It's not fine, is it?
I have taken that bitch's life.
Ah, yes, the animal killer. See, look, inherently aggressive.
Fuck you.
Anyway, that's gonna be it for today's episode.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share with your friends.
Also, let us know.
Let us know what do you think.
Yeah.
Our boy's more aggressive.
It's nature and nurture. So.
Anyway. All right. See you guys. Peace.